Hey guys, welcome back, Quality Shot Tennis. Before we get into the podcast talking about Day 7, 4th round action, I want to say that this podcast is sponsored by Nick Rivet Sport. Check their website out in the description for online racket demos and all things tennis equipment. All right, I've got Ash here with me, Ash Sood. What have you thought of the tournament? This is your first day here. Just give me your overall thoughts on the day.
It's been a good day. It's a typical British summer. We've had all different sorts of weather: thunder, lightning, sunshine, rain. But
that's what I'm getting used to now.
It's been a good day. It's been, from a British perspective, a bit of a mixed bag. Sonny Cartel going out after a bit of a breakthrough tournament, I'd say. But Cam Nori marching on, setting up a match against Alcaraz, which is exciting from a British perspective, but been an enjoyable day for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the best match of the day was probably on the men's side, Rublev taking on Alcaraz. Fourth set, epic match, epic performance from Alcaraz taking on a Rublev that was playing and hitting the ball exceptionally well. Alcaraz really, I feel like after the first set, really locked in and stepped into his shoes, and he delivered some unbelievable shots, which I guess we're used to from him at this point. Wasn't able to get an interview question to him, but that's okay. I did ask a question to Sabalenka, and she was quite fun to talk to, like usual, very transparent, just a very electric personality, you could say, and I think it's good. I think we need characters like that. You know, sometimes you want characters like that. Another good match on the women's side I thought was Anisimova versus Noskova. I was a bit shocked at how hard-hitting Noskova came to bat. I mean, Anisimova, I always think her backhand is one of the better backhands on the women's tour when it's firing. But Noskova was matching that backhand power brilliantly, and the returns from Noskova were amazing, and really made Amanda have to really earn for it. At one point in the third, it was like 4-4, 15-30 to Noskova, Anisimova serving, so it really got close at the end there. Amanda was giving these huge roars of just pure passion and will to win throughout the third set. Even when she was down, it just felt like she willed herself to the victory. It clearly showed outwardly what the win meant to her. She has Pavlyuchenkova next. She has a 3-0 record against her, and she could get to another Grand Slam semifinal for the first time since 2019. So shout out to Amanda. Also got to ask an interview question to her as well, and she's always lovely to talk to. So that's what I think. What's been your favorite match of the day, Ash?
I think for me it'd probably be Jarry Nori. I think several tie breaks, match points saved, just a real topsy-turvy up and down match. Jarry serving over 40 aces, but Nori really showing levels that we haven't seen for a while, I think, from him. And yeah, I think, it's only week one, but I think an early contender for match of the tournament. It'd be interesting to see whether Nori can take what he's done in this match into his next one against Alcaraz. But I think for both men, regardless of the outcome, of Nori's next match, obviously Jarry going home now, but both men can be really happy with their performance today and across the whole of the tournament. Jarry coming through qualifying and making it this far, I feel like it's a real high point in his career, having had a few lows recently, and same for Nori. I think I got that sense from the press conference with Nori as well, as he was very, very respectful of his opponent and almost quite happy for Jarry, which was nice to see. Good level of sportsmanship there. But yeah, for me, that's probably the highlight match.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because Jarry was actually visibly he was actually upset with Nori, and that came up in his press conference after the match ended. So it's interesting that Nori was actually being quite respectful, but that will probably make Jarry rethink and say, okay, he didn't intend anything too bad, so
Yeah.
that's quite interesting. That was an amazing match. In the fourth set tiebreaker, I thought Nori for sure was going to finally put the match away, and then Jarry just kept on fighting. Amazing match point as well. Nori, his stamina is ridiculous. Starts out the fifth set after so much tennis, long sets, like 3 tiebreak sets, as if the match just started. I mean, his stamina is amazing. People think of stamina and they think of like you still standing on 2 feet and not cramping, but that's not really what stamina is. Stamina is finding a way to peak at the right times when players aren't usually peaking. When you just lost a 2-set-to-love comeback, and your opponent is starting to play his best tennis at the start of the fifth, and yet you find a way to play with so much intensity at that moment. That's stamina. So Nori, time and time again in long matches, even in tournaments, just his stamina is really, really good, and he is playing the best level I've seen from him in a while. I thought the most interesting part of that match, I will say, too, on a final note about it, is that both guys had similar years coming in, where they haven't had a whole lot of things building up their confidence, results building up their confidence levels. And in the big moments, that made it really interesting because you didn't really have one guy or the other that you were expecting to build off of confidence from matches earlier this year. It was really up in the air who was going to be able to pull it out and who was going to be mentally tougher when it really matters the most. And that made it really fascinating. And also, I feel like Jarry and Nori play pretty contrasting styles to a degree. So I thought that was interesting as well. I mean, contrasting for sure, because like you said, Jarry hit 46 aces and lost the match. Nori, I would like to look at his ace count, but I'm sure it's not even half of 46. But Cam Nori is a fantastic player. He's always underrated just because people like a flashy player. He's not that, but he is a hell of a player. So, and final note on Nori actually is when he made Wimbledon semis 3 years ago, people often forget that run. I think mostly because that Wimbledon didn't count for ranking points. If it counted for ranking points, he probably would have had a higher career high than he has now. He probably would have been 6 or 7 in the world. So people forget about that as well. And then in terms of other things that happened, I'm just going to list off the players that we got to interview today. And then I guess since it's my final day, we can go over some of my thoughts on being here in London covering Wimbledon this week.
Quickfire questions.
Yeah, quickfire questions, if whatever you throw my way. I don't know what to expect. So we interviewed Hachinov. He played a really good match, actually hit his backhand fantastic, served really well. He's impressive. Fritz, got to interview him. He's playing and returning really well, but he just didn't get a full match against Jordan Thompson, who had to retire. Sabalenka, who I mentioned, Nori, Rublev, Anisimova, who I mentioned got the good win. So not as many matches on today as some of the other days, but it's still been, I've personally really enjoyed today. So, all right. I guess we're going to do quick fire questions. So hit me with whatever.
Okay, first one. Favorite match you watched?
Ooh, I have it already off the top of my head. This might be a left field one. Fonseca versus Jensen Brooksby. This match was unbelievable. I watched almost the whole thing from courtside. The whole first 3 sets, starting from like 1 or 2 games into the first set. I watched the match, and I'm telling you, every other shot was like breathtaking. It was one of those matches where it was just like lightning in a bottle. It was like most people aren't going to remember this match because it's a second round match on court 12 or whatever, but the quality was insane, and both guys have such unique styles of play. I really like the creativity that both guys have to offer. I think tennis is exciting when it's equally an art form as much as it is a sport, and both guys offer exactly that. It's cool to see how unique both players played, and I was also amazed. I mean, Fonseca is quick, but Brooksby was also showing amazing foot speed, so just really flashy, fun shots from both. The level was really high. I almost started to think Fonseca was going to go on a run after that match, but I guess still the lack of grass experience got the best of him. I think Jarry took him out at the end of the day, but anyway, his run was not to be. So that was my favorite.
Favorite player to interview? Can pick on the men's side and the women's side.
Okay. Favorite player to interview. For the men's side, I'm going to go with Daniil Medvedev. It was one of my first interviews that I did, but the guy is such a character. He's so unique. He tells you exactly what's on his mind. He's such a smart dude, and he will look you in the eye as he's answering the questions. He wants to be in the press room, which is so exciting. That's what really makes his presses worth it. I think one guy who was fantastic in presses was Andy Roddick, but I don't think he always wanted to be in the press room, to be honest. Sometimes he looked like he didn't want to be there that much. Daniil Medvedev, and shout out to Roddick as well, but Daniil Medvedev, he seems so excited to talk tennis and really answer these questions. And every person he's talking to, he gives a thorough answer. And I think it would be amazing for the sport if he decides to be an analyst. I almost wouldn't be that surprised if he doesn't, just because he's done so much analysis while playing that he might burn himself out before he gets the chance to be. But yeah, Daniil is such a funny guy, and he gives you the time when you ask the question, which is exactly what you want. So it's always great answers with him.
Favorite Wimbledon tradition?
Strawberries and cream.
That's the right answer.
Yeah.
Okay, favorite.
Actually, I quite like that there's a booth that says strawberries and cream in big.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
That was a big cue for that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Favorite landmark you visited in London?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say for me, my favorite landmark was seeing the Tower Bridge. Such a unique. I love architecture and cool architecture, so that was cool just to see a bridge with towers on either side of it. Well, especially my favorite thing I did in London was the not riding the London Eye, but the London Eye River Cruise. Highly recommend. And we passed right under a Tower Bridge, so I for some reason that was my favorite moment in London.
I like it. Favorite food from the trip? That could be something you had here on site or off site.
Strawberries and cream.
Oh.
No. No, actually, it was quite good today. What was it called? I'm actually going to choose this. It was quite good during dinner. Like butternut and squash pie or something, or whatever it was that they had. That was quite good. Yeah, so I'm going to choose that. Like squash pie. It tasted a lot like squash, which I've had before quite a bit. My grandma makes amazing squash. And it reminded me of that, so I'll take that.
Oh, nice. All right. Favorite English saying that you've come across that maybe you hadn't heard before, but is one that is used here?
Well, this attractive woman walked by me and she said "my love" to me, and I was like, "This is amazing! Like, I want to live here." So it was like casual. I was like, "This is great." So I'll take that.
And one more. Will you be coming back next year?
Yes, definitely.
There we go.
Yeah, absolutely. This was great fun. Best annual sporting event. I love the cultural aspect of it. It's just such an experience being here. So, yeah, it's my favorite tennis tournament. I'll be back.
Sounds good.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys, for listening to the podcast. Faison and Liam will have it from here on out. This has been Ash and Anthony. This is both of our last day at Wimbledon. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Check out all the interviews, Sabalenka, Fritz, Anisimova, all the players that we mentioned. And yeah, thanks guys for checking it out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and yeah, see you guys at the next one. Faison and Liam will have the daily pods for you for the rest of the event. See you guys later. Thanks.